Valley Unified School District. It's July 23rd, and welcome to everybody here tonight and anybody who is watching in. So I've called the meeting to order and ask if there's any public comment, any requests for public comment on the hearing none. We will recess to closed session and we will be back at 5 o'clock. So, thank you. To open session. The board took no action in closed session. Next item is the approval of our agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? None.
Personnel report.
I'll move approval of the agenda as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote here. Lavender,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Dot,
Yes.
and I'll say yes. So the agenda is approved 5-0. Public comment. The board respects and encourages the public to comment on matters on the board agenda and within the board's jurisdiction. The board fully supports civil discourse and requests that everyone respect each other and their point of view. Individuals who would like to address the board must complete a request to speak form or via the Google form on our website and submit it prior to the start of the agenda item. At the discretion of the board president, speaker cards may be accepted after the start of the agenda item. Individual speakers are asked to limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes unless the board decides otherwise. There are up to 30 minutes of public comment allowed on each agenda item. With board consensus, the president may increase or decrease the amount of time allowed. This meeting is being recorded to prepare the official minutes. And then to comply with the Brown Act, the board may listen to comments from speakers under public comment, but can neither discuss nor take action on the issues presented. So we're moving on to item 4. The personnel report. I think, do you have anything you want to say about that? Welcome to our meeting, Dr. Zamora. We're happy to have you with us in your first board meeting, even though it's a special meeting. Would you like to say anything about the personnel report?
Just quickly, bringing forward Mr. Aaron Ackerman for the Director of Maintenance Operations and Transportation effective August 2nd, as well as Mr. Sean Cooper as Coordinator of Theater Operations and Facility Permits. And lastly, classes that fell for the occupational therapist. So we recommend those classified management personnel to the board.
Thank you. It's an action item.
I'll move to approve the revised personnel report.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Lavender,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Dot,
Yes.
and I'll say yes. So the personnel report is approved 5-0. Item 4B is to consider board policy 6158 regarding independent study.
Yeah.
To delete another one and so forth. I'm sure you have things to say.
Yeah, Dr. Ryman's going to say a few things afterwards. I do want to say some things related to this because it has to do with how we're going to have when our schools open. But this policy had to be approved before school starts since there is an option for online.
So just recently, the state passed Assembly Bill 130, which creates some new rules regarding independent study. Many of those rules you'll find very familiar because lots of them are similar to the types of rules that were in place on a temporary basis last school year. The California School Boards Association created some recommended adjustments to our existing board policies, which we've incorporated into the proposed board policy changes that you'll see in front of you. Included in that are some of the minimum requirements in terms of instructional minutes, synchronous and asynchronous instruction. It does allow some flexibility that's helpful, things like parents being able to sign the independent study agreements using a digital signature rather than a wet signature. And so overall, we don't think there's anything that we're not meeting with our current plan for independent study. So we're very happy with that piece, and we hope that you'll find everything to your liking.
And just to add a couple of things, this is not the short-term independent study. So this is for the online program that we have. It's more than 15 days. Short-term independent study is for the kinds of things like a family would be out for, before it used to be at least 5 days and at the most 15 days. Now they've also changed that to 3 days and then 15 days. So this is separate from, this is long-term independent study. So all of the students at the virtual academy would be signing, they technically just signed this independent study contract, but so.
Thanks for clarifying that. So essentially, your home school would be the virtual academy, and to be a part of it, you would sign this independent study agreement to be a part of the virtual academy.
Yeah.
So there used to be independent study and the virtual academy. Are these now conflated, or are there still two kinds of
Yeah,
programs?
it's the same. Our virtual academy, the accreditation is actually based on you signing an independent contract, independent study contract.
So
So it's the same.
are there any independent study students who would not be doing virtual academy? I'm just curious, since I used to teach.
Sure. It's similar to the situations that Ms. Amati shared earlier. You could have the student that needed a short-term independent study. There might have been a medical situation or some sort of travel that's unavoidable, or a student got a short-term independent study agreement that would be handled through the school site. This is meant to govern our online program for students who are signing up for CVVA.
Yeah, so the related a little bit to this, I know that as we open our school, we right now, today was the last day for families to tell us for independent study for virtual academy, so that we can actually staff it and have all the paperwork done and things like that. But other than that, maybe after we finish the next item, within this item, because it's about just coming back, I have a couple of updates just to, in case people are watching, so that I can give it just a couple of updates related to school and opening. But the other item is uniform complaint procedure. It's just being updated.
Okay, this is an action item.
I'll move approval to adopt the board policies listed therein.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Great. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Lavender,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Dot?
Yep.
And I'll say yes, so that policy is approved 5-0. On to item 4C, future board meeting logistics.
So future board meetings will be open. We have seats available for people to come and join us. Not as many as we had before, but as we move forward, we will continue to do what we're doing today so that we are in person. We can have people come in and make comments in person. If we would like to continue to have the ability for people to make comments online, we will really have to make sure it's really difficult if it's not, if the notice to speak is not filled out in that Google form before the agenda starts. Because once we start the agenda, you also need to know how many people are speaking so that you can divide up the time in case there are more or less. And then once that happens, then Amy will just call on the people that already sent in their desire to speak. Just like in person, we're supposed to have the cards as we start the agenda item. I just, and I will really want to thank Amy, because not only is she doing this, video, all of that, and it's really difficult to take minutes at the same time, but we'll be able to manage it. But I ask that we just say at that time, and then anybody else after that, we wouldn't take.
Dot, and then Mike.
We received an email from Mr. Tiroli prior
Hmm.
to the board meeting about public comment. And there is, I see the link here. I think maybe he didn't find it. That's why he
Yeah,
didn't know where to put his. Okay, okay. And I'm just wondering if that could be, if we continue to do it this way, which I think we should, we can make that more highlighted and to be the place to put your public comment.
yeah, I think it was there and we couldn't figure out why that he wasn't. I know Amy
Well, he
was
may-
talking
I
to
don't know
him.
if he couldn't find it because, it's a few clicks.
Yeah,
It's there and it's also on our website as well.
Okay.
So,
I didn't look at our
but I did
website.
change the format a little bit because originally we were not going to be streaming today.
Mhm.
So it wasn't exactly the same it has been in the past.
Okay, okay,
But once decisions are made today, then I will readjust the agenda.
and fix
Okay.
that.
okay.
Awesome.
So, Parveen, what you're saying is different from the recommendation that's in the agenda,
Yeah.
correct? So that sounds right to me, that we would allow people, if they fill in the form prior to the item, they could speak
Mhm.
virtually for that.
Mhm.
We would also accept emails or other types of, no.
Emails are always,
Okay.
I mean, people can email you,
Yeah.
but if they want to make a comment about an agenda item, they need to fill out that Google form. And
Okay.
as you said, this time it was different. So it'll be there and they can just fill out the Google form and at the time that we start the item, and then we will call on them. We'll let you know how many people are waiting so that you can decide.
But
Is there any way that we can know that there's people in the audience? I feel it's a little weird. I didn't know Mr. Tiroli was online. Hi, Mr. Tiroli.
The only way would be for you to log in.
Okay, so as a participant, or
Unfortunately,
not-
the system does not allow for me to show you who else is in here.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
I,
Does that make sense?
yeah, totally. Thank you.
any other
That's it.
thoughts? Comments?
So if you like that direction, we'll continue to do it this way.
This is the last item on our agenda.
I think we have a speaker. We have a speaker.
Oh, we do? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that,
That's okay.
since I can't see that. So
Yeah, I'd like to know who's out there too.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
we can.
Okay, well, I had a prepared statement. I'll read it, but it's not going to be the same because you kind of changed the agenda item. But my name is Bill Tiroli. I'm the parent of a soon-to-be third grader, independent elementary. I have found the ability to remotely attend and participate in these meetings very valuable. I submit that moving back to a situation where participating, especially commenting, requires to attend in person would be detrimental and inequitable. In reviewing the Brown Act on board and board policy, I found that California Section 54963B1 clearly states that the board may use teleconferencing for the benefit of the public in connection with any meeting or proceeding authorized by law. Indeed, the manner in which the board has been running their meetings remotely is conformed exactly to what's given in the section, as well as reflected in board bylaw 9328. It therefore seems a matter of the board's preference whether meetings be done this way, and it seems like you seem inclined for that, so I'll skip that part. I submit that this benefits the community as a whole and reinforces a commitment to equitably serving the community and enhancing access to the process. Indeed, using teleconferencing has enabled board members themselves to attend meetings in situations where they would not have otherwise been present. In recent inquiry, I was told that board meetings are supposed to be conducted in person and that comments can be emailed. However, such comments are not read or reflected in the recording or minutes of the meetings. To be fully engaged in the process then requires speaking live during meetings. I submit that many members in the community find it impossible to attend board meetings in person due to unavoidable obligations, or that attending in person would result in having to pay for childcare. Board Policy 9320 under locations of meetings states that meetings shall not be held in a facility where members of the public must make a payment or purchase in order to be admitted. I am concerned that parents having to pay for childcare to attend meetings might violate this policy, at least in principle. Continuing teleconference meetings enables broader community engagement and equity. And I would just add that there was another bylaw 9005, which states the board shall have a unity of purpose and, among other things, ensure opportunities for the diverse range of views of the community to inform board deliberations. And I've always thought you did. So thank you for that. So thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Do you want to say anything?
Nope.
Okay.
We're going to continue as we have, but the board is supposed to meet in person. The difference was because of COVID, we were allowed to be virtual. So, yeah, so we'll continue and people just have to fill out the form right before the agenda item and we'll call. So I do, just before we end, I just want to say a few things about school opening, just I did send a letter out to families. We are just waiting for our principals to all come back and they're working diligently as they come back to finish and we'll send information. There are things we don't have information on, like PE and music, and that's coming, but the restrictions are only that we would require masking. The mandate is masking indoors and recommended outside. Washing hands, staying home with symptoms. So we're putting all of that in place to inform our families, testing and all of that, testing and tracking, vaccination, and things like that. So we're ready. We will send more information out as we have, and we're excited to have our students back.
I feel like we're in a really good place right now, despite the fact that virologically we're not in a good place, but we've done this. If we need to, go back to hybrid, we have a plan.
That's right.
And I think we have amazing staff and it's going to be a good year.
Absolutely. Yeah. In case things turn out to be, not as good as we want it to be, somewhere down the line, whether it be this or a fire or anything that we have now experienced being online. So we'll just switch over and we have that. So we will update some things and send information home. And then the other thing I wanted to let you know, that back to school event on the 9th, where we usually have welcome everybody back. So we will be videotaping the board president, CVTA, CSEA president, and our teacher of the year and classified of the year and myself. And we'll send it to schools to play at their staff meeting instead, since we don't have the same kind of thing. And then I've paired the 5 of you with one of us to deliver pins at staff meetings to schools. So I will send you the list of who you're pairing with and where we've divided up so that we can make sure we get everywhere. So you'll see that soon.
Like our partner.
Oh, then you can just dump them. Good switch.
Any other comments? Okay, before we adjourn, I just have one thing to say, and that is that last Tuesday at our Rotary meeting, Dr. Ryman gave an excellent explanation of the learning environment here in Castro Valley and how it is safe, equitable, and rigorous. It was really an extraordinary presentation. Thank you, Jason, for doing such a great job. Really enjoyed that. So I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks to everybody who attended, either here or online. Good night.